What does it mean when a respected financial guru basically says, don't put any of your money, zero of your money, into silver, gold, platinum, palladium, you name it? He says it's a big waste of time. Who is this guy? Dave Ramsey. He's followed by millions. He's a best-selling author, and he does not like silver and gold. So what I did, I dug in, listened to a bunch of his interviews, found everything I could. Why does he hate silver and gold? It should concern us, right? Most of us have a portion or a big portion of our net worth invested in silver and in gold. So when the supposed guru comes out and says, do not put, you're foolish, you'd feel, I don't know if he explicitly said that, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but we feel foolish when we hear a person like that, a person that garners so much respect, say, don't waste your time with silver and gold. So we want to dig in and see why, what he said. Number one, he says you got to look at the track record of silver and gold. And if you cherry pick this certain period, like the last 50 years or certain periods, yes, you can see what appears to be unfavorable returns for silver and gold relative to things like the stock market. But, guys, but you can also cherry pick certain periods of time, be it the last 20 years or the last year or the last 33 years, and show that gold and silver have done very well as a store of value. And there's a big kicker that we need to consider as well. When you stretch it out, right, when you look at hundreds of years or thousands of years, come on, man, is there anything that compares to the wealth preservation, the returns that we get from silver and gold? So I just don't buy that, I mean, tell me, how valuable were US dollars 300 years ago? How valuable were shares of AT&T stock, for instance? That's one that I kind of slightly follow because we used to own it. I sold AT&T stock a few years back for $30 a share. I looked at it the other day. It's now at $15 per share. AT&T, right? And eventually, the value of every company will go to zero. The value of every fiat currency will undoubtedly go to zero. History proves that. Now, I'm not saying that Google stock is going to be worthless a year from now, 10 years from now, but who knows 30 or 40 years from now. Remember Kodak? They were a high-tech company back in, the 40s and 50s? They didn't fare so well over the last 20 years. I don't think they're even around anymore. So when you want to look at the returns on gold, yeah, sure, you can cherry-pick some bad times. But really, when you spread out and broaden your view a little bit, the gold and silver have done very, very well. Let me know what you think about that in the chat, okay? Then Mr. Ramsey goes on to say, well, look at the price of gold and silver. In one of his interviews, he's like, look at the price. I'm looking at a chart of gold and silver, and it's all over the place. It's up and down and blah, blah, blah. Well, number one, look at the chart of any stock. Look at the chart of the US dollar. Look at the chart of anything. They're all up and down all around, right? But what's really interesting about this, and this is where we can learn, I heard a great story from Mark Hilton. He's the CEO of Alpine Gold Exchange. They're the company that runs things for the UPMA, the United Precious Metals Association. He had this great story, and I'm going to do my best not to slaughter it. But he said he likes to look, or one of his cohorts likes to look at the gold value like this. He said, if you're in a boat and you're in the ocean and there's waves, the boat's going up and down. If there's a lighthouse out there, right, when you're in that boat, it's going to look to you like the lighthouse is going up and down. But really, it's the waves, it's the boat that's going up and down. And you need to realize that gold is the lighthouse. It is the permanent fixture built on rock, built on stone. Whatever else you want to value gold in, compare it, let's say US dollars, euro, yen, whatever your currency is. That's the waves. That's the boat going up and down. So it looks like the lighthouse, the gold built on rock, is going up and down. But really what it is fluctuations in the currency. So yeah, you can say that, Dave. Yeah, sure. If you just want to look at gold or silver and measured in fiat US dollars, absolutely. But I don't buy it, right? Gold and silver are the foundation. John Exter, who was a United States Federal Reserve governor, said it himself, and he just died, 15 years ago. This is not some ancient dude. He said gold and silver are the base of the financial system. He has an upside down pyramid, Exter's pyramid. I always preach, you need to read about Exter's pyramid. It's fascinating. And at the bottom of that pyramid are gold and silver, the base. Everything else, currencies, dollars, debt, electronic, unicorn fart dust, options, derivatives, all of it is piled on top of that. And at the base is gold and silver. So is the price of gold and silver fluctuating, Dave? Or is it the dollar that's fluctuating? Is it the euro? Is it the yen? Then I was flabbergasted. I got a few more things he said we're going to talk about, but I want to check in on the comments first here real quick and see how everybody's doing. The pyramid, Rick Caroots. Hello, Snakebite. Good to see you. Hello, Ancient Tom. Hello, Paul. Hello, Silver Lunatic. Hello, The New Itch. Hello, Angelo. Wow, you guys are awesome. Rick Caroots. Okay, the pyramid. Even more when you have been on the ship for a while. Stepping on dry land feels like it's moving up and down. Yeah, very good one, Ancient Tom. The farting unicorn behind the curtain. Yeah, right. Yeah, our good friend Jerome Powell. Where is Jerome? I'll get him out for you guys here in a little bit. But let's move on to some more things that Ramsey had to say that I just thought this next one was the one that really, really got my blood boiling, because it is, in my opinion, now I want to hear what you have to say, but not true. He was talking to one of his listeners about, gold and silver being valuable in case of dire situation, hyperinflation, currency collapse, civilizations going away, whatever. And Dave Ramsey basically said, well, no, gold, if we look at history, and he used a couple examples. He used the Confederacy, the Confederate in the South during the Civil War. He said, when the Union beat the Confederates and people in the South were using Confederate dollars, right? The Confederate dollars became worthless. He's like, and people didn't switch to using gold and silver. No, they switched to using Union dollars. Well, absolutely. But you missed a big point, Dave. The people in the South who were storing their wealth in gold and in silver, they did just fine. They didn't lose anything. The people that had all their money in Confederate dollars, they did lose. So to me, when he said that, look, I respect the guy, but I wholeheartedly disagree with that. Wholeheartedly. He also used an example about Iraq with Saddam Hussein, and when the United States went in there and took over, the old money, whatever it was called, the dinar that had Saddam's picture on it, became worthless, right? And they didn't replace it with gold and silver. No, they replaced it with a new currency. Well, true, but again, I bet you talk to anyone in Iraq during that period, had they stored their wealth in gold and silver, they fared just fine, right? And look, guys, I'm not offering financial advice, and I'm not saying go put every penny you have in gold and silver. I'm not that way. I own a little bit of silver. I don't even own any physical gold. I own some gold mining stocks. But this notion that gold and silver as a blanket statement are not a good investment, I just don't agree with what Mr. Ramsey generally is saying. But we got some more points to cover, okay? Then he goes on to say, gold and silver are just commodities, right? They don't make any money. You know that argument. We've heard that before, right? Real estate, that makes money for you. And stocks, they make money for you. Gold and silver just sit there. Well, that's because they're a store of wealth, okay? Yeah, they can have periods where their price, and measured in whatever, right? The waves go up. Their price really explodes, and people do make money if you want to call it that, currency based in US dollars. But, the fact that saying that, oh, it's just a commodity, no, it's a store of wealth. It took a lot of energy to get it out of the ground. There's only so much of it on the Earth's crust. And then he goes on to say that gold has no intrinsic value, right? Has no intrinsic value. The only value of you're crazy for owning silver and gold. Because he says the only reason it's valuable is because somebody else is willing to buy it from you. Because somebody else thinks it's valuable as well. Well, yes, I would agree with that, but that can be said about most things. I think almost everything in the world, right? The only way it's valuable is if you can trade it or somebody else wants it. Number one. Number two, I'd like to point something out to you, right, Mr. Ramsey? We have a little track record of people being willing to buy gold and silver from other people, and that little track record, does it go back 1,000 years, guys? Does it go back 2,000 years? Does it go back 3,000 years? Does it go back 4,000 years? And before I forget, 5,000 years. Please give this a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. It helps get the message out to other people so they can start to wake up to the benefits of gold and silver. And if you've not subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. Tommy Chicago says Dave Ramsey seems like he's more of a spiritual cheerleader and mass marketer. He tends to make his money primarily off speeches, books, and sponsors, not specific financial investments to reference. Thank you, Tommy, for that input. What do you guys think about Dave Ramsey? Let me know. Huh? Come on. I want to hear. The snake oil salesman con. Well, and I've got something to share with you at the end of the video. It's just a news headline about Dave Ramsey and advice that he'd given to his followers in the past, which might give us a lens through which to look at this current advice that he's giving about silver and gold. Then I found it real interesting in one of the interviews I watched with Dave Ramsey, his sidekick, he's got the sidekick that's on him on his radio show. His sidekick said, yeah, there's some video on YouTube of some guy who for 24 hours tried to live off a gold bar. And finally he gave up and just went back to the coin shop. And I thought, I don't know, do you think you could live, if I gave you, let's say, a 1 ounce gold bar, could you live off that for a day? I'm watching that interview and I'm like, hey guys, bring it on. Bring me that 1 ounce gold bar. I assure you I could live really well off a 1 ounce gold bar, for instance, over a 24-hour period. Peter Schiff is the best. Another paid talking head, a scam. Okay, well, that's your absolutely. You get to have your opinion, like we all do. Here's what I thought was interesting surrounding this Dave Ramsey guy as I was researching for this video. Apparently, he's being sued for $150 million by his listeners over what they say is bad advice from a sponsor he had, which was a timeshare exit company. I guess these people claim they paid this company that Dave was pushing on his radio show. They paid this timeshare exit company thousands of dollars to help them get out of timeshares. And it wound up being a big, not a good situation. I don't know the details, so I'm not going to go into it. But if that's the kind of advice, I'm just saying, and I don't know the details of what's going on, maybe we can look at the advice on silver and gold through that same lens. Peter Grandich likes to bring up this point. I've heard him say it several times. Again, I'm not putting words into Peter's mouth, but Peter Grandich, who's been in the financial services industry for decades and who really understands the gold and silver sector. Like the financial service sector is not at all oriented towards silver and gold, right? It's just, there's not a big opportunity for the financial services sector to make a lot of money off silver and gold. So guess what? they don't push it. They don't talk about it very much, okay? There's a couple ETFs and a couple things like that, but there's a reason, unfortunately, not all, but a lot of the financial quote-unquote services industry is driven by people wanting to make money off you. And if they have a chance to make a bigger commission off one product versus another, I don't know. I think possibly there may be a bit of motivation to go with the one that pays a little more. Hey, thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'm going to see you soon. Thank you.